Child, if loving you is wrong, wrong show. Jesus Christ. What is this show called? Love and Hip Hop, season 3, episode 3, Hollywood. So we off the bullshit of the VMAs last week. Some of y'all some hate us. Okay, y'all some hate us. Now see, let me tell you something. I can point out when a bitch like y'all was really going in on Rihanna. Okay, I didn't understand it. Like y'all had some high expectations. First of all, she was getting an award for her videos, not for performing, not for singing and all that shit. And if you go into trying to see, expect Rihanna to give you vocals and a dance performance that's bomb out this world, that's on your fault. That's your fault, okay? Because that's not what Rihanna gives you, okay? So for what she did good. We all know she fucked up on the needed me part and shit like that. I said that shit too. I was sitting there like, but sometimes people just can't get credit where credit's due sometimes. But it is what it is. So hey, to each his own. But let me just tell you this. This episode of Love and Hip Hop started off on some bullshit already. Shanda on the beach, contemplating life and reflecting on the shit that's been going on. I can't believe that Willie would do this stuff to me. And I'm just sitting back here thinking about my kids, thinking about my family and all this stuff. And just trying to understand, why would I let myself get to that point with a fucking sad bitch that came from Chicago saying that she know my man. Then here come Willie. Look, I just want to tell you that I apologize. I would do anything that I can to make everything all right. The fact of the matter is, I never seen this girl ever since 2004, okay? It ain't right, but all it was text messages and all this stuff. But Willie, how can I trust you? Because we already went through this stuff. We're in the past with your past infidelities. Bitch, when she said that, I said, wait a minute, come again? Not infidelity, but infidelities with an S. And I said with an ES, okay? I was like, so he done been through this shit already, and you don't know if you can trust him or who to believe and all this stuff. Baby, come on. He has a history. He's still doing it. You know what it is you putting on. Come the fuck on. You get... I just don't get it. People like you, people like Tammy, who gets on camera trying to explain the reason why she took back Walker. I mean, I understand people gonna do what you want to do, but you ain't gotta explain yourself, boo. But I just wouldn't do it. Okay, this motherfucker has a history of doing this shit on you, and you just gonna take him back. He talking about something, I'll do whatever I can. You gonna let me make it up to you? I mean, I guess, because what else you gonna do? I'm like, what? I'm going to just be focusing on me. And it's time for me to do me, okay? And my music and all that shit. I was like, okay, go ahead. Willie, you really want us to think that Kaisha just popped up out the blue. And, we know Mona did some shit, but y'all had to approve this shit. Like, bitch, come on, stop playing. That bitch ain't that crazy. I know some bitches is crazy for TV time, but just to pop up out the blue, just to get on TV, to come from Chicago, to come to LA, to fuck up your shit. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. Anyway. Your lying ass. Anyway, moving on. From one liar to another. Princess goes to meet Brandy. Brandy at this shop with this fake ass French name. Jahela or whatever the fuck, because it's an accent over the end. I said, girl, stop playing. And basically, her and her partner, they had this little store that was online. So they was like, fuck it, let's take it to the storefront. We need to put this business out in the store and all this shit. Mind you, they in Inglewood. Okay, now my Inglewood over here, it ain't a good place. So, I expect the same thing probably up in California because I heard stories, but maybe shit change. All right, but she did that shit, and she was like, oh my God, girl, I just want to tell you what happened. She was like, what's going on? Where you get this show? So, let me tell you what happened. And this kind of fucked up, but see, Max came home with $27,000, right? And he wanted me to put that towards the baby. I didn't even put it towards the baby because I needed half to put on here with this, and that's what I used. So you mean to tell me you put the whole thing? Yes, the whole thing. And then Brandy in her confessions, this is how she rationalized this shit and made it seem like it's okay. If Max finds out about this, I hope he can understand. I know he gonna feel away, but look, Max, I'm trying to make this $27,000 into $270,000. I said, Calm the fuck down. She got extra dramatic at the end when she said that I'm gonna make this 27,000 into $270,000. I said no the fuck you not. No the fuck you not, girl. Is the shit still open? Anyway, Princess just looking like, girl, this is dumb as shit, and do not put me up in this shit. Cause I mean, I know I already spoke to Ray. Like, what if Ray put me up in this? What if he say something? He was like, girl, I'm using you as an excuse. I said, this ain't gonna end well, you dumb bitch. Moving on from that, we get introduced to two new characters, Lyrica A. Lyrica, she's a songwriter, right? Now, see, I cannot stand when people get on TV and they like to lie about what they do, all right? I don't care what nobody says. I am looking on complex.com at an old article that lists every fucking song on Beyonce's Beyonce album, broke it fucking down to who wrote who. And I know that Beyonce, she's not the best songwriter in the world. I mean, she done wrote some shit, but she didn't have writers, okay? Look, she the type of bitch that'll have 15 writers on one goddamn song. Alright, so I'm thinking, well, hell, maybe she could have wrote for her. Because she sure enough made sure to put out there that she wrote Beyonce, helped wrote Beyonce Jealous. And I was like, maybe sometimes Beyonce don't like to give credit. But then again, it's like 15 different fucking writers on these songs. So let me go see and search her name. So somebody had posted, shout out to my boo Jay. He posted the Wikipedia page during the show when I was at work. I seen it floating on my timeline, and she was not listed on it as a writer. And so therefore, I went, Wikipedia. You can play with it and all that stuff. Anybody can come in and edit it and all that shit. I went and looked up the real shit. Baby, Beyonce ain't got her on here as no fucking writer. She got Beyonce, Noel Fisher, Eric Andre Proctor, Roselle Diaz, Brian Soko, and Boots. Okay? Produced by Noel and Beyonce. Where's Lyrica? Is she going by another name on here? And then I was just told that after the show went out, because I'm watching this after it already aired, her people went in there and tried to put her name up on the Wikipedia page that she did right. Girl, stop fucking playing, okay? Anybody can do that shit. A1 is this fucking producer saying that he produced from everybody from Drake and Trey songs, and girl, don't nobody give a shit about Trey, okay? Whatever, because he ain't hitting no shit, okay? But basically, his mama then came out from, I think, Kansas City, trying to stay with them. He trying to move her out. It's issue going between the mamas. The mamas don't like each other and all that shit. So basically, that's what is going on with her. She trying to be an artist, and girl, I'm just like, all right, here we go with this foolishness. Okay, so, somebody just showed me something that did have her name on there. So, I can admit I was wrong on something, but bitch, I'm still conflicted. It seemed like somebody put her name on something, but, whatever. I do like lyrical voice, though, so no shade on that. And I would, because she, like, one of the ones that actually got talent. And I seen that on the preview, so it's no hate on that shit. But, girl, I had to do my research, and it's a lot of conflicting shit coming up. But anyway, moving on from that. Why did they come back with Ray J sitting down on his couch with his two cats? Was it cats or dogs? Two dogs, whatever, his pets. And he just rubbing them. Princess, I know it's all about love and everything. So, deep in my heart, I didn't want to feel like I was being forced to do no prenup because, we love each other. We trying to start this family and stuff like this. And she was like, yap, yap, yap. And I was like, girl, shut up. Okay, we get it. You don't want no prenup. This moment. This is when Princess put it out there, like, let me tell you something. So, Brandy got this store. He was like, word, for real, because, when we was at the wedding, at the engagement party, Max was asking me some stuff about, Brandy being out there with you, and I'm like, Brandy ain't been doing shit. Y'all ain't been doing shit. It was like, well, she got this store, and she took $27,000 that he gave her to put in for the baby and did it on the store. And it was like, oh my God, why would you do that? He was gonna say something. That's fucked up. I would never do that to my child. Take money out their trust fund. No. I was like, damn, Ray J kind of trying to make you like him this season. I don't know. Okay, but he made some sense. He made a good point. Why would you do some shit like that? Then we get this thing with Nikki, Tiara, and I think Nia, whoever the fuck. They coming up there, they sitting down. I don't know what the fuck, what in the poodle world was going on with Nikki's hair. Baby, change it back to what it was, okay? Because this wasn't working for you. You was looking like a different person, a different nationality, and I just was confused, all right? Same thing with Tiara. Please pick a different wig because that wet looking, I just woke up out the bed, you know, put my swag on type of wig, it wasn't working for me, okay? It really wasn't. What is Tiara's purpose on here? I really don't know. Everybody's been saying that, and I'm just like, I see it now. What is it? You know? But anyway, Nikki just wanted to tell them that she's not fucking with Fizz no more, but she fucking with two people. And we already know who those two people are. What's that? Costa girl and then Safari. Girl, bitch, who cares? Moving on from that. Moniece was like, I don't know why Princess wanted to meet up with me. But see, I went on ahead and entertained this bitch and see what the fuck it is that she want to talk about. You know, since she invited me over, all this shit. Bitch, let me tell you something. Mona and the people of Love and Hip Hop, y'all knew what the fuck was going on, okay? And y'all knew that something was going to pop off. Y'all do this shit all the time. Just look at the placement of people in a certain type of restaurant that they put them in. Especially when it's people like sworn enemies like Moniece and Princess. They put them at this big ass table thinking that, oh, they not going to reach over and touch each other. Okay, that was one thing. But then you had the table in the middle of the whole restaurant. So if something do pop off, can't nobody help but look over there because it's in the middle. Bitch, you're not fooling nobody. You're setting this shit up, all right? But basically, they got right down to business. Princess sat down and said, why the fuck you keep putting my name up in your goddamn mouth, okay? Every time I look up, you on Instagram, you on a shade room, you in some type of blog talking about me. Well, bitch, the reason why I said what I said is because of the shit that you said about my son. You know what? This bitch, Moniece, I am so tired of her trying to play victim. Like, bitch, every time somebody come at you after you come at them, you have these little Twitter fingers and all this shit, but then you want to back down and you want to flip-flop and all this shit and play fucking victim. I said, God damn, listen, this was a little cute for a second. And Moniece was like, okay, well, bitch, if you want an apology, I'm sorry. All right, I apologize for saying your name and doing all this and doing all that. Now, bitches, you gonna give me an apology for talking about my son and all that shit? I'm not giving you an apology for shit, bitch, because I don't bag your apology. Okay, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Princess said, no, bitch, it ain't fucking over. Princess get up like she and try to charge at Moniece. Moniece just was unbothered, didn't even flinch, and most likely was because the security was right there to stop the whole thing. And I'm just sitting here like, why do y'all do this? Why do y'all do this? You know you ain't finna get no fucking well. I was just looking like, it was cute though. I really want them to fight though. For some reason, I just want them to fight. Like, I want somebody to be ballsy enough to really get in Moniece's ass, okay? I really don't care for neither one of them, but I just want to see them fight. I really do. They just what they need to do. Sometimes you just need to box it out to get it over with, for real. So we get Lyrica in this same club that Willie performed at when, you know, Mona brought them extras up in there last season, okay? Because it's still a little scarce up in there. Like, come on, if you gonna put some people up in there, pack that bitch up, all right? I know she's supposed to be a new artist on the scene. She got voice and all that stuff. Make it seem plausible and realistic or whatever, I guess. Because even no-name people be having a lot of people up in their goddamn clubs and shit packed to see them. Girl, stop playing. Anyway, Lyrica mama. So Lyrica name is Lyrica Anderson and her mama name is Lyrica Garrett. I see it. So you Lyrica Jr., what's going on with this? I would be mad as hell if my mama named me her name too. Like, bitch, you lazy as hell. Okay, you didn't even think. You didn't even want to think. Or you love yourself that much that you want to make me a junior just like a nigga. No, don't do that shit, bitch. But anyway, listen, whatever her mama had, if she passed it down to her daughter, because mama had pipes, all right? Mama thought that she was still, you know, singing with the people back in the day. I think she said Tina Turner and all them other people, and she was naming off some big names and shit. Bitch, did y'all see A1 standing there looking at her mama like this? Because mama was giving you ad-libs and background vocals, and she was giving you runs too. And she was on fucking key and point with that shit. I said, Her mama is her biggest supporter right about now. She know her shit and everything. And sometimes that happens when you have a parent or someone that, you know, work closely with you that's in the same business or from the same business that you are in, and they feel like they can give you this and they know everything. And that's basically what her mama is doing. You know, she's saying basically since she been up in the business, she know this and she know that and all that stuff. A1 talking about some. I had producers and stuff texting me like, who is this? They singing background and all that stuff. She was like, don't you dare ever call me a background singer. What you need to do is you need to tell your mama to get the fuck out. Okay? So basically, it's beef going on between the two mamas. Lyrica mama is pissed off at the fact that, you know, A1's mama basically been up in that house for a couple of months or so, and she don't like Lyrica. And so she gets into it with Lyrica, and Lyrica has to tell her mama, and her mama's being a mother, protective as shit. You know, she don't want nobody coming after her baby, okay? That's understandable. Like, bitch, why you still there? You know, but that's his mama. And if they agreed to do that, that's what it is. But he did say, you know, he was going to get her out and all that stuff. Child, it was a mess. It was a mess. I will. I'm finna go check out some Lyrica stuff. You know, I shaved the fuck out of her in the beginning, but I'm really gonna check out some of her stuff. Anyway, moving on from that, Ray J is in the booth. Max, oh my god, Willie is in the studio, and Max is sitting in that chair, silent like this. And I said, it's like a battle between heaven and hell going on in his mouth. More like hell in the abyss and the other underground, you know, two evil things just going on in his mouth. Like, it's a battle between the Bloods and the Crips, the GDs and the Blackstones, and the Vice Lords and Black Disciple Gangs. All that shit is going on in his mouth. And I'm just not understanding. Like, I hope he be mad and say, I just really want him to come out when he find out what Brandy did. Just come out and be like, you spent $27,000 on that when you could have gave it to me and I could have got my teeth fixed. That's what I really want him to say. You know, I really want him to say that. But basically, you know, Ray J in the booth with all this auto-tune, singing some song about, you know, cheat on your man, you know, because he ain't giving you this and he ain't giving you that, if you can get it with me. Well, why do I need to cheat on him? Just let me break up with the bitch and let me go with you. All right? But here go Willie. I don't need to be talking about no cheating with all the stuff that's going on in my life right now. And then here go Ray J. Ray J sat down with Princess, and Princess pinky swore to him that he was not going to tell Max what was going on. You know, I can't tell I pinky swore to my girl that I wasn't going to tell her what was going on with Max and all that stuff with Brandy. But Max my dude and everything, so I got to let him hint to what's going on or whatever. I ain't going to leave the nigga out in the dark. I'm sitting here like, and he trying his ever-loving hardest to hint to it. And I'm just like, nigga, just go ahead and tell him. Just tell him, because you know you're going to slip up and tell him. But Max is just feeling some type of way because, you know, Brandy ain't really been where she said she was, because Ray J going to tell him. Well, the only time I ever seen Brandy was the time that, you know, I spoke about it and I told you about it at the engagement party. I'm just sitting here like, niggas gossip just like females. Look at this shit. All right, go handle your business, Max, okay? Go handle your business. I cannot stand, pause. I can't stand when you have singers who can actually sing, and I'm not saying that Ray J can actually sing. He can carry a tune, but I never really cared for his voice, but he don't need auto-tune. Like, I can't stand when people use auto-tune and they don't need it. Like, they're just lazy. Ugh. So Ray J and Max go to this store, and mind you, Ray J is just so obvious that he knows what's going on. Princess and Brandy, they are at this other, you know, boutique. Here she go to scope out the competition. Bitch, you ain't got no competition because, girl, you out of your league, okay? And Princess was like, you know, Max and Ray J show up. And he was like, this look like a new store. This look like a new store. That's what Ray J or whoever was saying. And it was like, nigga, it's not even her store. Like, wait until they get to it. Damn. And then here go Brandy. I wanted him to find out about the money at the grand opening of the store. You think that's really gonna make him feel any better? Bitch, shut up. That's an embarrassing thing to find that out in front of all these people, and then, you know, so he can stand there looking stupid that his wife basically stole money from their baby. There you go. Okay. And so, that shit was going on, and Princess went on ahead and told her that, yeah, I told Ray about it. She was like, I could never trust her with any of my secrets again. Girl, don't nobody give a shit. Okay, so we get to Lil Fizz. He out there at Monique's house packing his shit up. Monique's coming in the house like, what you doing? Hold the fuck up. So you just trying to sneak out? He was like, look, he read the fuck out of her. And I agree with him. She gonna say something at the end. What you won't do is um, you won't be rude to me in my house, so you can just get the fuck out. No, he was already on his way out, okay? So you could have kept that. And you deserve to be read like that because he was right. You are a loose cannon. You out here getting into it with everybody. Well, for 2 years, these people have been gaining up on. But you put that shit out there, okay? So therefore, you get what you get what you put out, all right? And like he said, you could have put your child first and thought about your child for the simple fact that you don't have to respond to every single thing. He wasn't calling you a bad mother. He just saying that you was a fucking loose cannon. Like, you don't have to open up your mouth and defend every damn thing. You know what it is about you, and you know what's real, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you know what's false, but you don't have to say shit all the fucking time. Everything don't warrant a response. You out here making trouble. You out here getting into it with everybody and all this shit and, meddling in his love life and stuff like that, regardless of if the situation was going to go somewhere with Nikki or not. You shouldn't have opened up your mouth and said nothing. It wasn't your place. And so he got the fuck out. He should have been gone. He should have never came there in the first place. Should have just went on to a fucking hotel. But hey, what am I to say? Free rent, I guess. So Lyrica and A1 trying to have a night to themselves, and as they doing so, here come, Pam. We see A1's mama, and I said, girl, you trash. I'm sorry, because she was a little bit rude. Lyrica, you was a little bit rude, but I understand, she like, damn, when this bitch gonna be gone? He was like, look, she gonna be gone in Thursday, okay, but what she gonna do? Because she just came in, baby, want me to fix you something to eat and all this stuff, and next thing you know, she started going in on Lyrica started going in on her, and then she was like, see, you're just like your mama. That's why, that's where you get it from, because y'all like to argue or whatever. Y'all up here thinking that y'all singers and stuff. Miss Diva, are you Aaliyah? Are you Aaliyah, are you your mama Tina Turner? Bitch, I said, wait a minute, I had to rewind. Did she just say who I think she said? Do not play, okay? Stop that shit, bitch, because who the fuck are you? All right, who the fuck are you? I was here for Lyrica when she said, bitch, that gut don't look 100%. You need to get that shit sucked out. Because, bitch, she gonna say something, ain't no gut, this all 100%. Ain't no fake ass, ain't no fake titties, ain't no fake nothing. And she was like, bitch, you ain't got no ass. And at that moment in time, I clocked the fuck out. I said, you know what? I don't have time to play with them. All right? Then we get to the grand opening of Brandy's store. So everybody shows up, and here go Nikki. Of course, I had to come and I had to support my girl. Everything looking good up in here, and I'm just like so happy for little B. I was like, all right, girl. And so Max wasn't there, but she talking to Princess and Ray J. She was like, thank y'all for showing up, and Ray J, thank you, thank you. Thank you for not saying nothing to Max. It was like, you haven't told him nothing yet? No, I haven't told him anything. Here go Ray J in that confessional, like, damn, dog, this shit is kind of fucked up. Lil B, my homie or whatever, but here I am trying to celebrate this day with Lil B. The store is alright, okay? It's okay. It ain't bad. It's okay. But then my nigga Max, he don't know shit about what's going on. This shit is janky. I said, okay, Ray J, y'all turn up at the wrong time for me. Okay, I be sitting here and then all of a sudden I just be like, wait a minute. Why y'all getting so loud? That's how it be, okay? Lil B is in the middle of giving a little toast. I want to thank everybody for coming and supporting my dreams and seeing my dreams come reality and all this stuff. Thank you, mommy. Thank you, daddy. Thank you, Shorty Max. Thank you, Princess. Thank you, that. And then here come Max rolling up in there looking like he finna whoop somebody's ass. And he was like, she gonna say, and to my fine ass husband who just came up in here. And when she said that, I said, where? Where? Okay. After that, she took him to the side and she was like, baby. He was like, what's going on? I ain't know nothing about this. So y'all know about this, but I'm the only one that didn't know nothing about this. What's going on with this shit? And then he was like, this our store. She was like, wait a minute, what's this our store? What you talking about? I mean, 50% of this is ours. So they just gave it to us free. He put that angle of his head up, and then it was just like, it was just like rot versus rancid. We don't know which one was going on in his mouth at that point. And I just said, I thought for a second that his teeth was just gonna fall out. If you ever looked at the animated movie of Anastasia, okay, whichever way you want to pronounce it, and Rasputin, the way that his body was falling apart, that's how his teeth look, okay? And so she was just going on, and he was like 50%, so they gave us this for free. Well, what they do for this? She was like, he said, where you get the money from? I just get the money that I was the 27,000. So you mean to tell me you took our kids' money? You know, okay, you can have this. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I said, Max, don't. I said, don't make a scene, bitch. You make a scene all the time. You fuck it up for yourself. Okay. No. I don't want this to end like this. No, you're not going nowhere. Baby, I'll pay you back. I swear. I'm sorry. Max had every right to be over it because, like he said in that confession, you can't trust nobody, bitch. And he was like, I never said no to you. And I honestly feel like if she would have presented it to him and if it would have made sense and all this stuff, he would have gave her the money, no problem. Okay, look how easily he gave her that 27,000. But it's the fact that you took money that was supposed to be for the son. You lied to him about it. You went to a venture without letting him know because y'all are married, all right? So you should let him know what's going on. And my whole thing is, okay, she made this shit so fucking dramatic. And did y'all notice how when they was talking about what was going on, I know it really wasn't nobody up in that store but her friends and family. So, you know, whatever. She's over here, but obviously they was talking loud enough, or Mona told them to go look over there at them because everybody was focusing on them. They might as well just stood there and said it in front of everybody. You chasing him outside, you putting on this show, you being extra and overly dramatic. You getting on top of the hood of his car. I would have drove the fuck off and let your ass just rolled off. Okay, I really would have did the shit because she goes from talking to us, I'll pay you back, please don't go. I didn't want it to end like this. And I'm sitting here like, damn, she always just take it to the max that he finna break up with her or leave her or some shit like that. And I'm like, what goes on in y'all relationship? Because at one point he was looking at her and she was scared to tell him about that 27,000, like he didn't put his hands on her before. I got that vibe. I don't know if anybody else got that vibe, but the shit was funny at the end. I don't want this to end like this. No, girl, you brought it on yourself. I love it, hip hop. Y'all tell me how y'all felt. Peace.